I should have seen it coming when she walked through our apartment door that Tuesday evening, looking like she'd been carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. I was at the kitchen counter, reviewing investment portfolios for my clients, a habit I'd developed over my 7 years as a senior financial advisor at one of the city's top wealth management firms. At 29, I was the youngest senior advisor in our office, managing just over $180 million in client assets. The irony wasn't lost on me that I could predict market volatility better than I could read what was about to happen in my own home. "I need to talk to you," Lily said, dropping her bag by the door with that particular thud that meant something heavy was coming. Those 5 words made my stomach drop faster than the tech stocks did in March 2020. I closed my laptop, already calculating the probability of what was coming next. In my line of work, you learn to read patterns, assess risk, and prepare for multiple scenarios. But nothing in my financial models had prepared me for this. "I'm so tired," she continued, slumping into the kitchen chair across from me. "Work has been insane. Wedding planning is stressing me out, and I just feel like I can't breathe. I need a few days to myself just to reset." I kept my voice level, a skill I'd perfected during countless client meetings where millions were on the line. "What do you mean by a few days?" "Maybe I'll stay at my sister's place or get an Airbnb. I just need some space to think and rest. No pressure, no expectations, just me time." The numbers started running through my head immediately. We'd just put down $53,000 on a house, $45,000 from my carefully managed investment portfolio that I'd been building since I was 22, and $8,000 from her savings. The wedding venue alone was a $6,000 deposit. The photographer, another $2,500. My analytical mind was already calculating potential losses while my heart was trying to process what she was really saying. "Are we okay?" I asked, though my risk assessment training was already flagging this as a red alert situation. She hugged me then, tight and desperate. "Of course we are. I love you. I just need this, okay? I'll text you every day. It's not about us." I wanted to pull up the relationship equivalent of a financial audit right there. 4 years together, 8 months engaged, joint financial commitments totaling over $65,000, and she needed space. But I'd learned from managing high net worth clients that sometimes the best strategy is to step back and observe before making any moves. "All right," I said, though every instinct honed from years of risk management was screaming at me. "Take the time you need." She left the next morning with a duffel bag, kissing me goodbye like it was just another Tuesday. Said she'd be back by the end of the week. I watched her drive away in the BMW I'd helped her lease 6 months ago when her credit score wasn't quite where it needed to be. Another financial entanglement I'd have to unwind if this went south. "Day 1, she texted. "Got a cute little place near the lake. Already feeling more relaxed. Love you." Day 2. "Went for a long walk. Feeling better. Miss you." Day 3. Nothing. That silence triggered the same alarm bells that go off when a usually stable stock suddenly stops trading. I pulled up my phone's location sharing. We'd set it up for safety reasons. But she'd turned hers off. Another red flag in a growing collection. Day 4, I texted her at 9 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. Professional persistence, the kind I used when following up with hesitant clients. "Hey, just checking in. You good?" No response until 11 p.m. "Yeah, sorry, phone died. All good." Phone died for 14 hours? I'd seen her anxiety when her phone hit 20% battery. She carried 2 portable chargers in her purse. The probability of her phone being dead all day was about as likely as me recommending penny stocks to my conservative retirement clients. Day 5 changed everything. I was reviewing quarterly reports during lunch when I decided to check Instagram. I wasn't looking for anything specific, just mindlessly scrolling while eating my sandwich at my desk. That's when I saw it. A post from her best friend Rachel. A group photo at Brennan's Brewery, the upscale place downtown where they serve $18 craft cocktails. And there was Lily, radiant and laughing, sitting inches away from Derek. Derek, her ex-boyfriend of 2 years, the guy she'd dated before me, who she claimed ended things amicably, but who she also swore she'd never speak to again because it was too complicated. The investment banker who worked at a competing firm, who drove a Porsche 911, and whose name had come up exactly twice in our 4 years together. My hands went cold as I zoomed in. His arm wasn't around her, but their body language screamed intimacy. She was wearing the $3,000 Cartier necklace I'd bought her for her 27th birthday. The photo was tagged at 9 p.m. the previous night, when her phone was supposedly dead. Rachel's caption read, "Reunited and it feels so good. Hashtag squad back, hashtag good vibes." I immediately called Lily, straight to voicemail. Not even a ring. She'd either turned off her phone or blocked my number. I texted, "Saw Rachel's post. What's going on?" No response. Then I did what any strategic thinker would do. I went directly to the source of information. I texted Rachel, "Hey, didn't know Lily was hanging out with you guys. Thought she needed alone time." Rachel replied within 30 seconds. "Oh shit, she didn't tell you?" "Yeah, she's been staying at Derek's place since Wednesday." "Thought you knew." "Sorry, dude." I read that message 10 times, each word hitting like a margin call on a leverage position. Staying at Derek's place since Wednesday. That was day 3, the day she went silent. I called Lily 6 more times. Nothing. My senior partner, Robert, knocked on my office door, probably wondering why I wasn't in the afternoon strategy meeting. I waved him off. For the first time in 7 years, I was letting my personal life interfere with my professional responsibilities. At 2 a.m., she finally texted, "Can we talk tomorrow? I'm really tired." "No," I replied immediately. "We talk now? Call me." Instead of calling, she sent a paragraph that I've since memorized. "I didn't plan this. I ran into Derek at a coffee shop on Tuesday and we started talking. It felt easy. He invited me to hang out with some old friends and I said yes. I've been staying in his guest room because it's easier than an Airbnb. Nothing has happened. I just needed space and this felt like the right place to get it. I'm not ready to come home yet. I need more time." Guest room at her ex-boyfriend's penthouse apartment, the same ex-boyfriend who, according to LinkedIn, had just made partner at Goldman Sachs. I knew exactly what kind of space she was exploring. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I did what I do best. I strategized. I pulled up spreadsheets, contracts, and account statements. I calculated every financial entanglement we had, every shared asset, every joint commitment. By 6 a.m., I had a comprehensive exit strategy that would protect my assets while minimizing losses. First call at 8 a.m. was to my attorney, James Fitzgerald, who I'd helped set up a trust fund for his kids. "James, I need you to review some contracts, real estate and personal. How quickly can you see me?" "For you, I can squeeze you in at lunch. Everything okay?" "It will be," I said, already knowing how this would play out. Second call was to my buddy Chris, who worked in commercial real estate but knew residential inside and out. "If I need to pull out of a house purchase, what's my exposure?" "Depends on the contract and timeline," he said. "Why? What's going on?" I gave him the abbreviated version. He whistled low. "Get your money back, man. Don't wait. These situations never improve with time." Third call was to the seller's agent. Turns out we were still within the inspection period. I'd insisted on a 45-day inspection contingency, despite Lily wanting to waive it to make our offer more competitive. My risk-averse nature had just saved me $45,000. "We're withdrawing our offer," I told the agent. "Please initiate the deposit refund process." "May I ask why?" The sellers were very excited about your offer. "Personal circumstances have changed. Please process the paperwork today." By noon, I was sitting in James's office, reviewing every legal document Lily and I had together. The apartment lease was solely in my name. I'd rented it 2 years before she moved in. The car lease was co-signed, but the early termination penalty was only $2,000. The wedding vendor contracts were joint, but most were still within cancellation windows. "You're being very methodical about this," James observed. "Most people in your situation are more emotional." "Emotion doesn't protect assets," I replied, signing the paperwork to remove Lily's access to my investment accounts. I learned that during the 2008 crisis. The clients who panicked lost everything. The ones who stayed strategic survived. That afternoon, I moved $180,000 from our joint savings account to my personal account at a different bank. It was mostly my money anyway. Bonuses, investment returns, and careful savings over 7 years. Lily had contributed maybe $15,000 total. I left exactly that amount in the joint account. I also called my building super Mike, a guy I'd helped set up a retirement account 2 years ago. "Mike, I need the locks changed on my apartment today. Can you help me out?" "Today? That's rush service. Gonna cost extra." I'll pay double your usual rate. I'll be there in an hour. While Mike changed the locks, I began the methodical process of packing Lily's belongings. Not in anger, but with the same systematic approach I used when organizing client portfolios. Her clothes went into wardrobe boxes I had bought from a moving company. Her jewelry, except for gifts I'd given her, went into a separate container. Her books, her photos, her collection of succulents she somehow hadn't killed yet. Everything organized, labeled, and ready for pickup. She didn't text me for 4 more days. 4 days of silence while she played house with her ex-boyfriend. During those 4 days, I canceled the wedding venue, recovered $4,000 of the $6,000 deposit due to a force majeure clause James found, notified the photographer, lost $500 of the $2,500 deposit, canceled the honeymoon flights, got full credit thanks to premium travel insurance, removed her as beneficiary on my life insurance and 401k, canceled the joint credit cards, separated our phone plans, unfriended her on all social media platforms. On day 9, she texted, "I think I'm ready to come home. Can we talk tonight?" I replied, "Sure, what time?" 7? Okay. She showed up at 7:15, looking disheveled in a way I'd never seen before. Her usually perfect makeup was smudged, her designer clothes wrinkled. She saw the boxes immediately and froze in the doorway. "What is this?" she asked, her voice small. "Your belongings, organized and ready for transport." "No, I mean, why are my things packed?" "Sit down," I said, gesturing to the couch. "Tell me what this is," she demanded, still standing. "This is the logical conclusion of your choices. I've withdrawn from the house purchase, recovered my deposit, changed the locks, and retained legal counsel. Our relationship is terminated." Her face went white. "What? Why? I told you nothing happened." "You lied," I said simply. "You said you needed space. You didn't say you needed space with your ex-boyfriend. You didn't say you'd be staying at his $1 million penthouse. You disappeared for days, ignored my calls, and expected me to just accept it. I needed to figure things out. Then you should have been honest. You should have said, 'I'm having doubts and I've reconnected with Derek.' But you didn't. You lied, you hid, and you made me look like a fool to everyone who saw you with him while I thought you were at your sister's." She started crying then, the tears that used to make me fold immediately. But I'd seen too many clients cry when their risky investments went south. Tears didn't change numbers. "I was scared," she sobbed. "I didn't know how to tell you." "So you didn't tell me at all. That's not fear. That's cowardice." "I love you," she said desperately. "I made a mistake, but I love you. We can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll do anything." "No," I said, my voice steady. "We've built something over 4 years, but you demolished it in 9 days. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Multiple choices, actually. The choice to meet him, to go to his place, to stay there, to lie about it, to ignore my calls. Please don't do this. We're supposed to get married. We have a whole life planned." Had. Past tense. "You wanted Derek? Go be with Derek. But I'm not waiting around while you figure out which investment banker you prefer." She grabbed my arm. "I don't want Derek. I want you." "Then why were you at his place for a week?" She didn't answer. The silence stretched between us like a failed merger negotiation. "That's what I thought," I said. "Your belongings are packed. You can arrange pickup tomorrow. Please leave your key on the counter." She left sobbing. I felt nothing. Just the same numbness I'd felt when I'd had to tell a client their entire portfolio had been embezzled by their previous advisor. Sometimes the loss is so complete that emotion becomes irrelevant. 2 days later, my phone rang. It was Monica, Lily's sister. Monica and I had always gotten along well. She was supposed to be a bridesmaid, and I'd helped her roll over her 401k when she changed jobs last year. "I need to tell you something," Monica said without preamble. "And Lily's going to kill me, but you deserve to know." "Okay." She slept with him, with Derek. She said it happened the second night she was there, and she regretted it immediately. But she did it. I closed my eyes. I'd suspected, of course. The probability analysis had put it at about 85%, but confirmation still hit differently. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Because she's planning to lie to you. She's going to beg for you back and pretend nothing physical happened. I can't let her do that to you. You're a good person. You helped my whole family with financial planning, never charged us a dime. You didn't deserve this. Thanks, Monica. I'm sorry, she said. For what it's worth, I told her she's an idiot. Derek's a player. Everyone knows it. He's got a different girl every month. She threw away a stable, loving relationship for a guy who won't even remember her name by Christmas. That evening, Lily texted, "Can we please meet? I need to explain everything. I owe you that." I agreed to meet at a neutral location, a park near our apartment, public enough that she couldn't make a scene, private enough for a real conversation. She showed up looking like she hadn't slept in days. Good. Actions have consequences, as I tell my clients who want to day trade on margin. "I'm so sorry," she started immediately. "I know I hurt you, but I need you to understand. I was confused. Derek and I have history, and seeing him brought up old feelings. But they're not real. They're just nostalgia. You're my future. You're the one I want to marry." "Did you sleep with him?" I asked directly. She hesitated for exactly 1.3 seconds. In my business, hesitation tells you everything. "No," she said. "I swear nothing physical happened." I actually laughed. "Your sister already told me the truth." Her face crumbled like a bad earnings report. "She what?" "She told me you slept with him, so you can stop lying now." The mask dropped immediately. "It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. I regretted it the second it happened." "Stop," I said, holding up my hand. "Just stop. I don't care about your excuses. You cheated, you lied, and you were going to keep lying. We're done." "Please don't do this. I'll do anything. Therapy, I'll cut Derek off completely, I've already moved on," I said, though emotionally was perhaps too strong a word. "I'm done. This conversation is just a formality." She stared at me. "You're really going to throw away 4 years because of one mistake?" "No," I corrected her. "You threw away 4 years. I'm just accepting the loss and reallocating my resources. It's what I do." I left her sitting on that park bench. 3 weeks later, after complete radio silence, I received a text that still amazes me with its audacity. "The break is over. I've had time to think and I'm ready to work on us. Can I come home?" I stared at that message for a full minute, genuinely impressed by the delusion. She'd been gone for almost a month, had slept with her ex, lied about it, and now wanted to come home like she'd just been on a business trip. I typed my reply carefully. "You don't have a home here anymore. I'm seeing someone else." The last part was a lie, but I wanted her to feel what I had felt seeing her with Derek. My phone immediately exploded. 12 calls in 3 minutes, text after text. I blocked her number after the 15th call. Then, surprisingly, Derek called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Hey man," he said, his voice uncomfortable. "I just wanted to apologize. I didn't know you guys were engaged when she showed up. She made it sound like you were on a break." "We weren't on a break," I said. "She lied to you too." "Yeah, I'm realizing that now. She's been trying to move in with me, and honestly, I'm not interested in that level of drama. Just wanted you to know I'm not trying to steal your girl or anything." "She's not my girl anymore," I said. "You can have her if you want." "No thanks, man. I'm good. She's been blowing up my phone for days. Had to block her. Anyway, sorry about everything." The call ended, and I felt oddly satisfied. She'd burned both bridges trying to keep them both open. It's been 2 months now. Through Monica, who still texts me occasionally, I've learned that Lily moved back in with her parents. She's been trying to reconcile with Derek, but he's completely uninterested. Apparently, she was just another conquest for him, a challenge because she was engaged. Once he'd won, he lost interest immediately. I got my full $45,000 back from the house deposit, plus earned about $3,000 in interest from the brief time it was in escrow. I'm looking at condos now, something smaller but entirely mine. No one else on the deed, no one else's opinion on the neighborhood. The wedding vendor situation worked out better than expected. We lost about $3,000 total in deposits, but Lily's parents, mortified by their daughter's behavior, insisted on covering half. Her father called me personally to apologize, said he was disappointed in how she'd handled everything. That actually meant something. He's a retired federal judge, not someone who apologizes lightly. My colleagues at the firm have been surprisingly supportive. Robert, my senior partner, took me out for drinks and said, "You handled that with the same composure you showed during the 2020 market crash. That's why you'll make partner before you're 35. The friend group has split predictably. Her close friends have reached out with various defenses. She made a mistake. Everyone deserves a second chance. You two were so good together. I blocked most of them. The ones who knew what she was doing while it was happening and said nothing, they're dead to me. You don't let someone make a fool of themselves if you actually care about them. My friends, on the other hand, have been solid. Chris helped me find a great condo with a motivated seller. James refused to bill me for the legal work, calling it a professional courtesy. Even Mike the super checks in on me occasionally, makes sure I'm doing okay. As for me, I'm doing better than okay. I'm thriving. My client base has grown by 20% in the last 2 months. Apparently, my life crisis made me more relatable to the divorced executives I work with. My portfolio is performing well, I'm sleeping better than I have in years, and I've started training for a marathon. Something Lily always said was too time-consuming. Some days are harder than others. I'll smell her perfume on someone walking by, or I'll see a couple looking at engagement rings and feel that familiar pang. But mostly I feel relief, like I dodged a bullet, a very expensive, emotionally devastating bullet. I learned something valuable through all this. In finance, we have a saying, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. But in relationships, past behavior is actually an excellent predictor of future behavior. Lily showed me she was willing to lie, to cheat, to manipulate when things got difficult. She showed me that her commitment was conditional on her feelings in the moment. Better to learn that before the mortgage, before the kids, before the merged retirement accounts and joint tax returns. The $3,000 lost in deposits? That's nothing compared to what a divorce would have cost. The emotional pain? Temporary like a market correction. The lesson learned? Invaluable. Next time, and there will be a next time, I'm only 29. I'll know what to look for. I'll recognize the red flags earlier. I'll trust but verify, as we say in finance. And I'll make sure that anyone I build a life with understands that trust, once broken, doesn't recover like a diversified portfolio. It's gone forever. Derek reached out again last week, asking if I wanted to grab a beer and clear the air. I politely declined. There's no air to clear. He did me a favor, honestly. He revealed what Lily was capable of before I was legally bound to her. To everyone saying I should have fought harder for the relationship, why? She didn't fight for it. She ran to her ex the second she felt stressed. That's not someone you build a life with. That's someone who will abandon ship at the first sign of rough waters. The ring? I sold it last week. Got 70% of what I paid for it, which is better than most guys manage. That money's going straight into my down payment fund. She asked for it back through Monica, claimed it was a family heirloom. It wasn't. I bought it from Tiffany's with my year-end bonus. I have the receipt. The best part? My credit score went up 30 points after I removed her as an authorized user on my cards and closed our joint accounts. Turns out she'd been carrying balances I didn't know about. Another red flag I'd missed. But that's the thing about red flags. They're easy to see in the rearview mirror. The trick is recognizing them through the windshield. And now I know exactly what to look for.